And joining me right now is Wyoming Senator John Barrasso, chairman of the Senate Republican Policy Committee, and a member of the Environment Committee, and a medical doctor to boot. Well, Senator, first of all, we've already heard from Mitch McConnell grave concerns that this is presidential overreach. It's a negotiation that took place for 9 months. He could not have predicted that Republicans would take over. But what is going to be the policy of the Republican majority about this climate negotiation?
You know, Andrea, we're very concerned about the economy and jobs in the United States. To me, this is an agreement that's terrible for the United States and terrific for the Chinese government and for the politicians there, because it allows China to continue to raise their emissions over the next 16 years. And remember, emissions in the United States have actually been going down over the last decade. So this is going to end up raising costs of energy for American families. People that are hurt the most are people low income, people living on a fixed income. So I think it's irresponsible to impose expensive new regulations on energy in the United States, which makes us as a country less competitive economically.
And there's also been criticism from the incoming chairman, Jim Inhofe. But I want to share with our audience something else that he said back in 2012, the incoming chairman of the Environment Committee. He said, "My point is, God's still up there. The arrogance of people to think that we human beings would be able to change what, would be able to change what he is doing in the climate, to me, is outrageous." So apologies for that, but we're going to leave it up there so people can read what Chairman Inhofe said. Now, you're a man of science. You're a medical doctor. This is what the incoming chairman of the Environmental Committee. So why should, frankly, people trust Republicans to be running policy on science when this is what the incoming chairman has to say about climate change?
Well, number one, all of us want to make energy as clean as we can, as fast as we can. We want to do it in ways, Andrea, that don't raise the energy costs for American families, for their jobs, for their income, and to provide for their families. Those are the issues that we need to be focusing on. And I think that when we hurt ourselves competitively globally, that hurts our economy, it hurts our families at home. I'd invite the president to actually come back to the United States and visit with the families who are impacted by his policies. I've just met with a number of students from Wyoming. They're concerned about these policies and the impact on the jobs of their parents who work in the energy industry in Wyoming, which is still one of the most beautiful places in the world in which to live and work.
Well, hasn't the progress that the U.S. has made on domestic production and on natural gas changed the equation here in the United States and made cleaner energy, even some from fossil fuels, some from natural gas, more of a possibility?
Well, we have seen emissions in the United States going down. Well, that's been over the last decade. The president now has more stringent policies, which I believe are going to make energy more expensive for families across the country. It'll make us less competitive. And with this agreement, China is still saying their emissions are going to continue to go up for the next 16 years and then peak at those much higher levels. So I think that the president has gotten very little and he's given away much in the agreement.
Is there anything that the Republican majority will do to try to prevent this from taking place?
Well, we're going to continue to work with the regulations that the EPA has come out with in trying to cut back what they've done there. We want to do that legislatively. You know, the president tried his drastic policies with the so-called cap and trade. I called it cap and tax. He couldn't get it passed, Andrea, when he had 60 Democrats in the United States Senate. Could not get it passed. Those were a lot of Democrats that voted against his policies. So I can assure you that in a Republican majority, we're not going to be putting additional policies in place to make energy more expensive. We want to make energy more affordable for the American public, and we want to keep these good jobs in our country.
And is there a possibility that some Democrats are looking at now of a Keystone Pipeline decision in the lame duck session? Is that something that you would support? Is there bipartisan support for that? Now that the red state Democrats have lost, this could be a decision that would help Mary Landrieu.
Well, number one, I think that the Keystone Pipeline should have been approved years ago. It was a good idea when it was proposed. It's still a good idea. If it comes to the Senate floor, I will vote for it. I find it very interesting that Harry Reid continued to block a vote on the Keystone XL pipeline until now. Mary Landrieu is in the process. They're throwing a Hail Mary pass, trying to save her Senate seat. So apparently the cost of the Keystone XL pipeline is trying to preserve one Democrat Senate seat after they have lost, and we have now won the Senate seat in Alaska. We're now at 53 Republican members of the United States Senate come January.
Senator Barrasso, thanks very much for being with us today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Andrea. Thank you.